What if I told you American history is missing an entire chapter? A city erased from records. Knowledge hidden underground. Not destroyed. Deleted on purpose. One man finds the truth no one was meant to see. And once you hear it, you'll never look at history the same way again. What if everything you were taught about history was incomplete? Not because information was missing, but because someone decided you were never meant to know it. What if the world you live in today was built on carefully edited memories, rewritten timelines, and silent deletions? History books talk about discoveries, wars, and empires, but they rarely talk about what vanished without explanation. Late one winter night in Boston, while the city continued its routine of traffic lights and late trains, a young historian named Ethan Carter worked alone inside one of America's oldest public libraries. He preferred nights like this, when the building was quiet and the past felt closer. Ethan had spent years studying historical records, and one thing bothered him more than anything else: the gaps. Entire civilizations disappeared too cleanly. Events ended too suddenly. Some timelines jumped forward as if someone had erased decades with a single stroke. History, Ethan believed, wasn't wrong. It was edited. That night, he was reviewing a forgotten section of the archives labeled Outdated Records, a place most researchers ignored. While moving a heavy bookshelf, Ethan noticed something strange. The stone wall behind it was darker, smoother, and colder than the surrounding structure. Embedded within it was a steel door that didn't belong there. No handle, no visible lock, no mention in any architectural blueprint. Ethan's pulse quickened as he stepped closer. Scratched into the metal were 3 uneven words that looked ancient, carved by hand rather than machine. This was forgotten. Not lost, not destroyed, forgotten. The wording sent a chill through him, because forgetting is an action, not an accident. Every instinct told Ethan to walk away. Historians are trained to observe, not interfere, but curiosity has always been more powerful than caution. When he placed his hand on the cold steel, the door unlocked with a deep mechanical sound that echoed through the basement like a warning. As it slowly opened, a rush of cold air poured out, carrying a scent of dust mixed with something metallic and old. The lights behind him flickered, and for a brief moment, the library felt less like a building and more like a boundary between eras. Beyond the doorway was darkness, thick and unnatural, as if it was meant to hide something. Ethan turned on his flashlight and stepped inside. The door closed silently behind him. A narrow staircase spiraled downward, carved from stone older than any modern construction. Strange geometric symbols lined the walls, patterns that seemed to shift when he stared at them too long. With every step downward, the air grew heavier, and time itself felt distorted. The sounds of the modern world faded from his mind. Minutes passed, or maybe hours. Ethan couldn't tell. Finally, the staircase ended, opening into a massive underground chamber. The space before him was enormous, far larger than the library above. The ceiling arched high, glowing faintly as if illuminated by a hidden source. Stone pathways stretched in every direction, precise and deliberate. This wasn't a tunnel or a bunker, it was an entrance. Ethan stood frozen, realizing a terrifying truth. Whatever existed beyond this chamber had not been forgotten by accident. It had been buried by design. History had not lost this place. It had hidden it. And by stepping forward, Ethan Carter had crossed the line between recorded history and forbidden truth. Ethan stepped forward slowly, his footsteps echoing softly as if the chamber itself was listening. The underground space stretched far beyond what should have been possible beneath a city like Boston. The air felt different here, cleaner yet heavier, carrying a quiet energy that made his skin tingle. As his flashlight moved across the walls, he realized the stone was not rough or broken like ancient ruins usually were. It was smooth, polished, shaped with intention. This place had not survived by accident. It had been preserved. Pathways branched out in perfect symmetry, leading toward distant structures barely visible through a faint glowing haze. As Ethan walked deeper, the light around him no longer seemed to come from his flashlight alone. The walls themselves emitted a soft glow, as if infused with a dormant power waiting to be awakened. Soon, towering structures came into view. Buildings carved from stone and metal blended together in ways modern architecture could not replicate. There were no signs of decay, No collapsed roofs, no broken streets. Everything stood frozen in time, as if the city's inhabitants had vanished in a single moment. Ethan's heart pounded as he realized the impossible truth. This was a city, not a bunker, not a hidden tunnel system, but a fully functioning civilization buried beneath the United States. Strange symbols lined the walls of the buildings, repeating in patterns that felt mathematical, almost alive. When Ethan focused on them, images flashed in his mind. People walking these streets, communicating without words, shaping energy with their hands. He staggered back, overwhelmed. These weren't hallucinations. They felt like memories being shared. As he moved toward what appeared to be a central plaza, the space opened wide, revealing a massive circular structure at the city's core. The floor was engraved with complex designs that pulsed faintly beneath his feet. In the center stood a towering pillar floating slightly above the ground, rotating slowly without any visible support. Ethan realized this city wasn't ancient in the way textbooks described ancient civilizations. It was advanced, far beyond what historians believed humans were capable of thousands of years ago. This knowledge alone could rewrite everything humanity thought it knew about its own origins. Suddenly, faint, holographic figures appeared around the plaza. Men, women, and children formed from light, replaying moments from a long-lost past. They weren't soldiers or rulers. They were teachers, builders, thinkers. Ethan watched as they shared knowledge freely, no signs of hierarchy or control. This civilization had been built on cooperation, not conquest, and yet it was gone. No signs of violence, no signs of disaster. Just absence. That realization terrified him more than destruction ever could. Civilizations fall, but they leave scars. This one had been erased cleanly. As Ethan explored further, he noticed something even more unsettling. The city wasn't decaying because it was still active. Energy flowed silently through the structures, maintaining balance, preserving everything exactly as it was left. Whoever built this place had planned to return, or they had planned for someone else to arrive. Ethan felt a growing sense of unease as he understood the weight of his discovery. If this city existed beneath American soil, how many others were hidden around the world? How much of human history had been deliberately buried to protect a narrative of progress built on incomplete truth? Standing in the center of the silent city, Ethan understood one thing with absolute clarity. History did not evolve naturally. It had been guided, edited, and controlled. And this city was proof that humanity's greatest chapter had been written and then erased. As the lights around him brightened slightly, Ethan sensed he was no longer alone. Whatever had hidden this city knew he was here now, and it was about to respond. The moment Ethan sensed he was no longer alone, the air around him shifted. The soft glow of the city dimmed slightly, as if responding to an unseen presence. His heartbeat grew louder in his ears, echoing through the silent streets. Then, without warning, the light began to move. Shapes formed in the distance, emerging slowly from the shadows between the towering structures. At first, Ethan thought they were holograms like the others he had seen, but these figures were different. They were solid enough to cast faint shadows, yet translucent enough to glow from within. They walked calmly, deliberately, as if they had been expecting him. A voice spoke, not aloud, but directly inside his mind, clear and controlled. "You were not meant to find this place so soon." Ethan froze, every instinct screaming to run, but his legs refused to move. The figures stopped a few steps away, their faces human yet timeless, untouched by age. They wore no weapons, no crowns, no symbols of authority, yet their presence carried undeniable power. "We are the keepers," the voice continued. "Guardians of what history chose to erase." Ethan struggled to breathe as the meaning of those words sank in. These were not ghosts, they were not myths. They were survivors. The keepers explained that long before modern civilization, their society reached a level of understanding humanity still struggled to comprehend. They mastered energy without destruction, technology without control, and knowledge without hierarchy. Their greatest discovery was not machines, but awareness, the ability to understand how thought, time, and matter were connected. But knowledge, they said, is never neutral. As humanity outside their civilization began to grow, early empires became aware of their existence. Fear replaced curiosity. Leaders saw opportunity, not wisdom. They wanted to own what the keepers protected. Conflict followed. Not sudden war, but quiet manipulation, broken agreements, and attempts to steal what could not be controlled. The keepers showed Ethan visions of that era, cities burning, societies collapsing under the weight of power they were never meant to hold. Humanity was not ready, and the price of forcing progress was extinction. Faced with a choice, the keepers made the hardest decision in human history. They erased themselves. They dismantled their presence from the surface world, removed their knowledge from collective memory, and buried their city beneath the earth, not to disappear forever, but to wait. History does not move forward in a straight line, the voice said. It moves in cycles. We chose silence so humanity could survive itself. Ethan felt anger rise within him. You let the world suffer, he thought. Wars, hunger, disease, the keepers responded instantly. They showed him images of what would have happened if the knowledge had remained. Global control systems, thought surveillance, weapons capable of ending consciousness itself. Humanity would not have evolved. It would have ended. Silence had been the lesser evil. Ethan realized then that history's greatest lies are not written with words, but with omissions. The keepers had not been forgotten because they were weak. They were forgotten because they were dangerous to power. One of the figures stepped forward, its gaze locking onto Ethan with unsettling intensity. We did not choose you by chance, it said. You are here because you question narratives, because you search gaps, not answers. Ethan understood. The city did not open itself to explorers or conquerors. It responded to curiosity without greed. Still, one question haunted him. Why now? He asked. The keepers explained that humanity was approaching another turning point. Technology was accelerating faster than wisdom. The same patterns were repeating. The city sensed it, and Ethan's arrival was not an accident, it was a test. The keepers stepped back, the light around them intensifying. What comes next, they said, will require a choice. Ethan felt the weight of generations settle on his shoulders. He had crossed beyond history. Now he stood face to face with those who decided what humanity was allowed to remember. The keeper's words echoed in Ethan's mind long after the figures stepped back. The air in the city felt alive, charged with possibility, as if every stone, every pathway, every glowing symbol carried the weight of decisions yet to be made. The vision they had shown him was clear. Knowledge alone could save the world or destroy it. In one scenario, their technology ended hunger, cured disease, healed oceans, and even extended human life beyond imagined limits. Cities ran on energy drawn from the earth without taking from it. Machines repaired themselves, ecosystems restored themselves, and humanity could live in balance with the planet. In another vision, the same technology became a tool of domination. Governments used it to monitor thoughts, to manipulate memories, to control every human action. Empires rose and fell not through war, but through invisible chains of obedience. The keepers said, the same knowledge that can heal can also enslave. Ethan felt his stomach tighten. He thought of the world above, of cities clogged with traffic, of political corruption, of wars fought over ideology and greed. Humanity had advanced technologically, but emotionally, spiritually, it remained fractured. Could they handle the power the keepers had left behind? As he walked the city streets, he realized that his decision would ripple across generations. The keepers had not chosen randomly. They had observed him, watched how he thought, how he questioned, how he approached truth without desire for control. We believe you are ready to decide whether this knowledge should be released, one keeper's voice said, calm yet firm. Ethan felt a cold sweat on his back. He had never been responsible for anything close to this magnitude. One wrong choice, and the world could fall into chaos, just as the keepers had predicted centuries ago. The holographic images shifted again, showing the path of human civilization if knowledge had been introduced too soon. Greed amplified, wars unending, technology misused, humanity's potential destroyed. He shivered, and then another sequence flashed. What could be achieved if wisdom preceded power? Unity, peace, sustainability, enlightenment. The choice was staggering, almost unbearable. Ethan walked to the center of the plaza, where the floating pillar rotated silently, its glow pulsating in rhythm with his own heartbeat. The pillar represented the knowledge, the wisdom, the future, everything that had been buried and protected. He placed his hand near it, feeling warmth and energy ripple through him. He understood suddenly that the city itself was testing him, gauging not just his intellect, but his intent. Was he driven by curiosity, compassion, or by the allure of control? His mind raced. He thought of modern leaders, corporations, governments, and ordinary people. Could they handle a leap in consciousness, a gift that could reshape reality itself? And yet he also thought of the suffering that could be prevented, diseases cured, famine ended, the planet healed. The stakes were unimaginable. He felt the weight of history pressing down, centuries of erased truths, untold sacrifices, silent guardianship. He realized that some truths are too heavy, too powerful, for the world until it is ready. With a steadying breath, Ethan whispered, "Not yet." The words felt both heavy and liberating. He looked at the keepers. The world isn't ready. Humanity isn't ready for this. The figures nodded, their glow softening, as if they had anticipated his answer. "Wisdom has its time," one said. "Patience is part of our responsibility. You have chosen wisely." Before fading into the air, they left behind a single object, a book. Its pages were blank, perfectly white, yet the energy emanating from it was palpable. "When the time comes," the keeper's voice said, "history will write itself again. This book will guide the world, but only when humanity is ready to turn the pages." Ethan understood then that his choice, though seemingly small, had preserved the balance between knowledge and survival, between potential and destruction. As he left the city, returning through the staircase, he felt both relief and awe. He had glimpsed the hidden past and the possible futures, and he had chosen restraint, responsibility, and the unseen path of patience. Above him, Boston continued to sleep, unaware that beneath its streets lay a civilization advanced beyond imagination, a civilization waiting for the right moment. Ethan's journey had changed him forever. He had learned that sometimes the most powerful action is not to act, but to wait. And sometimes the greatest knowledge is not what is given, but what is withheld. The choice had been made, but the story was far from over. Humanity's next chapter had not yet been written. And when it was, it would be guided not by greed, but by those who understood the weight of true power. Ethan climbed the staircase slowly, feeling the weight of the underground city's secrets pressing on his shoulders. Every step echoed with the whispers of a civilization that had chosen silence over power. When he emerged into the library basement, the cold air of Boston felt strangely ordinary, almost mundane, compared to the energy he had just left behind. The city above continued its nightly rhythm, unaware that beneath its streets lay a world of unimaginable knowledge, waiting for humanity's readiness. Ethan placed the blank book on a nearby table, its energy humming faintly as if alive. He realized it was more than a book. It was a promise, a future, and a warning all in one. Whoever eventually opened it would hold the key to humanity's greatest potential and its greatest danger. Walking out of the library into the quiet streets, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. Time itself seemed to breathe differently, slower, more deliberate. He had crossed the line between the world people knew and the one they had forgotten, and he had returned changed. The keepers had trusted him with a responsibility he was not sure he fully understood. How many people could have resisted the temptation to exploit such power? He pondered the billions who would see the world differently, who might never choose restraint over ambition. And yet Ethan also felt a strange calm. He had witnessed what lay beneath history, and he had chosen patience over impulse. That choice, though invisible to the world above, had safeguarded humanity for now. As dawn approached, light spilled over Boston's rooftops, illuminating streets that seemed the same as always, but now carried new meaning for Ethan. Every building, every bridge, every pathway had a shadow, a story untold. He walked past ordinary people, feeling the pulse of curiosity and potential in their movements. Somewhere, deep beneath them, the city awaited its time, and he knew that someday humanity would be ready to meet it. He paused at the edge of the city park, looking up at the sky painted with early morning hues. The world felt full of possibilities, yet delicate, like glass balanced on the edge of a table. Ethan made a silent vow to protect the secret of the keepers, to guide the future without exposing the past too soon. Knowledge, he realized, was a responsibility heavier than any man could bear alone. And yet he was not entirely alone. The energy of the underground city pulsed faintly in his mind, a quiet reminder that he was part of something larger than himself. Every moment from now on would carry the weight of what he had seen, of what had been hidden, and of what could one day change everything. Ethan's journey was over, in one sense, but in another, it had just begun. The blank book on the table would wait for the world, and he would be its silent guardian until the time came. Above him, Boston woke to another ordinary day, unaware of the legacy buried beneath. But for Ethan, nothing would ever feel ordinary again. The stories he had known, the history he had studied, and the truths he had uncovered would forever color his understanding of reality. And for those watching, perhaps this is a reminder that history is never truly what it seems. There are layers, hidden corners, and forgotten legacies that shape the present. The past is alive, waiting for discovery, but only those who are patient, curious, and responsible may ever unlock its full meaning. And so the city sleeps, humanity moves forward, and the secret legacy waits silently for the right moment. Ethan walks on, carrying both knowledge and restraint, a bridge between what was forgotten and what one day may be remembered. The story ends here, for now. But the whispers of the hidden city, the wisdom of the keepers, and the possibility of the future continue, just beneath our feet, unseen and waiting. What will humanity do when it is ready? That, dear listener, is a story yet to be told.